Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit and this is the Apache RR 310. Yes, we know that, and this motorcycle has been our absolute favorite if we want to look for the perfect balance between a motorcycle that can really do your everyday chores, give you superior comfort, fantastic right triangle, and can come into its own element when you bring it to a place like this, the MMRT, which is a racetrack. Now this motorcycle, although relatively new, has already seen quite a few upgrades, and this was introduced in 2017 with much fanfare, and at the very launch everyone was completely floored by the looks of this motorcycle. It really looks smashing and is arguably the most beautiful looking motorcycle in its segment and beyond. Now its reverse inclined DOHC engine, which is borrowed from BMW along with its shark inspired design, caught the fancy of one and all, but TVS was quick to bring an update in 2019 where they introduced the race tuned slipper clutch with better drivability, improved fit and finish, and they also offered limitless roadside assistance with the motorcycle. And like that was not enough, in 2020 this motorcycle got BS6 compliant along with a whole suite of upgrades which included a segment leading connected TFT cluster, which is a colored unit. It got 4 ride modes, the tires were replaced with Michelin Road 5 tires, and it also got a new dual tone color scheme. Now for 2021, TVS, like they have been doing in a lot of segments, have upped the game for everyone, and this motorcycle that you see here is an all new introduction. And not just are there new features on this motorcycle also comes with a customization program which is quite unique and is known as built to order, or TVS built to order. The motorcycle that you see here is painted in TVS racing colors, and this new color is a part of the 2021 lineup, and these colors are the TVS One Make Championship colors, TVS racing colors. So as you can see, the familiar red, blue and white colors are there. However, to match with this golden upside down fork, you also have a tinge of orange, and not just that color match the orange here, it also is a nod to 1980s when this color was a part of the TVS racing team. So do let us know what you think about this color scheme. It looks really racy, and it also has a touch of retro to it. I quite like it, and there are a lot of things that you'd probably like to see about this new color scheme. You have a number here, which by the way can be customized. I'll get to that bit later, but let's first talk about all the design changes. You have the red, white and blue TVS racing colors here as well, with the TVS emblem. Racing since 1982 emblem here, and this splattering of TVS racing colors on the fairing as well, TVS Racing and Apache. Now the tank here is red, you have a streak of blue here, Indian tricolor sits proudly here as well as on the front fly screen as it did before. Mind that this tricolor is only on the right side. On the left hand side you have this red and blue stripe, and at the rear panel also the color scheme is different from what you'll get on the standard motorcycle, where you will continue to get the titanium and red colors as standard. However, you will get these red colors as an option for the built to order program of 2021. The mechanical package, if you talk about the engine, about the gearbox, is exactly the same. This motorcycle comes with a 6-speed gearbox, and the power output is the same as before, 34 PS, and torque output is rated at 27.3 Newton meters. So nothing has changed there, but there are some really big changes that I'm going to get to now, and all of these changes come under the built to order program. Now before I get to that, let me be very clear. You can buy the TVS Apache RR 310 the way you were buying it before, and in traditional colors this motorcycle is available just the way it was available before this launch. The only difference is going to be that the exhaust now on the standard motorcycle also will be slightly more upswept so that it can lean better, and this color instrument console has also been upgraded. So the new motorcycles, whether it's made to order or whether it's the standard motorcycle, will now get some additional features. Older motorcycles can also get these updates as a software update at the service station, but you will have to pay a little bit extra for that. But new motorcycles will get it as default. What are these changes? This motorcycle will now come with a dynamic engine rev limit indicator. What that means is, based on the engine temperature and oil temperature and your usage, the rev indicator will indicate an optimum rev limit beyond which you should not rev. However, it's not going to override your intentions, but it will give you an indication as to what should be the optimum rev range if the engine temperature is at a certain point. So it will allow for enhanced engine durability as well as a refined engine feel. Apart from that, there are a few more features as well, and apart from the regular trips that you have here, you also have a day trip meter. As you can see here, now you can see what you did in any specific day, and the amount of distance you covered, or the total time you traveled, or the average speed, and all of these things which are available as a trip readout in other trip settings as well. But now this additional day trip meter has been introduced. Another new feature that has been included is an overspeed indicator function, and you can manually set the top speed that you want to set for this motorcycle, and if you cross that speed, the motorcycle will give you a warning that you have crossed the speed limit that you set yourself. Now, as I mentioned before, this beautiful color instrument console, which was already the most feature packed in the class, now also gets an additional feature, which is DigiDocs, and you can now store important documents on cluster and app like your RC or your driving license. So these are some new additional features in addition to the dynamic rev limiter indicator that I talked about, the day trip meter, and the overspeed indicator that I talked about. So these are the things that you will get on the standard motorcycle as well if you buy it now, and for the older motorcycles you can have this upgrade by paying an extra amount of money. Now, in the TVS built to order program, before we get to what all is available, we need to talk about the program itself, and this program is a first of its kind program in the industry, where you can completely customize the kind of options that you want for your motorcycle, and you can completely configure your motorcycle online before you decide to order the product. You have to download the TVS Arrive app, or you can go to the TVS web configurator, and after you have configured your motorcycle there, you can track your order live and see when the motorcycle will come to you. Now, the process of ordering a motorcycle is that you download the TVS Arrive app, enter the TVS built to order configurator, and you log in there with your TVS Connect login credentials. You customize and personalize your product to your taste or requirements. Then you have to select the nearest premium dealer. Now, this product is available only at select few premium dealers of TVS, and you will not be able to get it or order it at the smaller dealers. Once you have placed your order online, you will be told by when your vehicle will be delivered, and after about 45 days roughly, your product will be delivered to you, unless there is more waiting for this product. Now, that was the part about how to customize this. You have two kits to choose from. You have the dynamic kit and you have the race kit. Now, the dynamic kit is more of a performance mod, where you get advantages in terms of the ride and handling of the motorcycle, and the race kit is more about the ergonomics. What all do these kits involve? Let's talk about that first. And in the dynamic kit, you will get fully adjustable front forks, which are adjustable not just for preload but also for compression as well as rebound damping, and they are adjustable for up to 20 stops for both compression and rebound damping. You also get a fully adjustable rear monoshock with 10-step adjustability for preload, and you can adjust it for 20 points for rebound damping as well. And then finally, as a part of the dynamic kit, you get this anti-rust brass coated long lasting chain, which is going to improve the longevity of this component, and these three components complete the dynamic kit. Now, let's talk about the race kit. Now, as a part of the race kit, you will get these new handlebars, which are clip-ons, obviously, since this is a race inspired machine, and now these handlebars will allow for a more crouched position. By how much, you might ask? So these handlebars are now tilted 5 degrees inwards, like if they were here, now they are somewhat here, and they are also lower by about 8 degrees. So if they were somewhere here, now they have gone down. So the handlebar position is now closer and lower as compared to the standard RR 310, which allows for a more crouched position and lends itself better for track riding, and you can ride it more aggressively, tuck down better and feel more connected with the motorcycle. The second thing that has been included as a part of the race kit, that the foot pegs have been raised for a 4.5 degrees better lean angle. So since these foot pegs are now higher, you can lean the motorcycle much harder, and we experienced that at the racetrack at some of the corners, where invariably you feel the foot pegs brushing with the tarmac. There was no such thing happening. So when you're on the racetrack, this thing definitely helps. And in addition to all of that, if you look at the foot peg itself, now it's knurled, which means that you have these small spikes on the foot peg, which allows for better grip, and while you're riding on the racetrack, it does help. Now, if some of you who are the owners of the older RR 310 who are feeling a little bit disheartened, you need not be disheartened, because a whole bunch of these things, in fact almost all of these things, can be ordered for your motorcycle as well, except probably for the paint job, and I'll get to that bit later as to what all you can order, what you cannot order, and I'll try to answer all the questions that you have in the later part of the video. So do watch till the end. Now, as I mentioned before, the exhaust on the 2021 RR 310 is a little different, and it's not just the angle of the exhaust which is different, it's also been tuned to sound racier, and I'll leave it up to you to decipher the difference. Let me fire it up and see how it sounds. In all honesty, that difference is a little too difficult for me to decipher, but if you guys are able to figure the difference, do let me know about it in the comments section. That would really be appreciated. So this exhaust is now available on all the new 2021 TVS Apache RR 310 motorcycles. Whether you are buying it in black shade or in red shade, you're buying it stock, this change is there. Now let's delve a little bit deeper into what all has gone into these changes and what is the technical implication of these changes. So let's start off with the most important change, which I believe is the preload adjustment as well as the rebound and compression damping for this motorcycle. Now preload, as you would know, does not necessarily mean that it stiffens or softens the suspension. Technically, strictly technically speaking, preload adjustment increases or decreases the motorcycle's sag, and it defines how high up or low down are you sitting on a motorcycle. So if you're riding with a lot of weight or with a pillion, you will probably set the preload to a higher level where the springs are opened up a little bit more, and you will have a little bit more play. So the adjustment range for the preload here is about 15 mm, and that adjustment can be made before you set out, because you would know how much load you would be carrying, and you would rather set the preload before you set out for your journey. Now after that, you have these two adjustments here. Now you'll use the nut here for the preload adjustment, but this little screw head that you see here, right here, will be used for your compression damping, and the screw head which you see here will be used for your rebound damping, and these settings can be changed at 20 different stops. And does it work? I'll get to that in a bit. However, you also need to have a look at this key, which is a wave bite key, and not just does this key enhance the security of the motorcycle, but it also serves a fantastic purpose, where if you want to change the settings of the rebound or compression damping, you can use the key itself to change the settings. Every single time you go up or down a notch, you'll feel a distinct click, and based on what you prefer or the kind of surface that you're riding on, you can change the compression and rebound damping on the fly. So for example, if you are on the racetrack, you can make the compression stiffer, or if you are riding every day, you can keep it somewhere in the middle. If you are riding bad roads, you can keep it at a softer setting. There is no best setting ever for any motorcycle, and depending on the surface that you're riding on, you can always adjust the compression and rebound damping, and that's the beauty of the system. Now this motorcycle has become completely customizable in terms of ride quality and handling, and if you're riding it on a racetrack, it can behave like a completely different motorcycle. When we set out, we were given a softer setting, and on the sharper corners where I had to come in hot and brake hard, I could really feel the rear suspension mildly wobbling. However, as soon as the setting was set to the race settings, which were perfected by the good people at TVS, this motorcycle started acting like the perfect race tool. Now, talking about the softer setting, it was much better to ride over, say, a set of rumble strips or over a bad surface. So this motorcycle has become much more customizable now. If you're riding with someone as a pillion, you would probably want to soften it so that they don't feel the jarring surface beneath them. Now that was about the front suspension. At the rear, you get the 10-step preload adjustment as was available before, but in addition to that, now you also get a 20-step rebound damping. You don't have compression here, mind you, and that can be adjusted using this screw head that you see right here. Now this screw can be turned using this key as well, and that's a very well thought out part of this whole package. I really believe you will not require any additional tools to set up your damping on this motorcycle. And as I mentioned before, you also get this longer lasting anti-rust brass coated drive chain as a part of the dynamic kit. Coming to the race kit, now as you can see, the riding position has changed drastically and it comes really handy. Trust me, when you are riding around a racetrack like this. Not that the TVS Apache RR 310 was not suitable for track ever. I have ridden this motorcycle on the racetrack and it has always delighted me. But this more committed, more crouched stance is more suited for these kind of conditions, although it's not very well suited for your everyday riding purposes. So if you would be taking this motorcycle to the racetrack often, going for this kit would make sense and you will get a more connected, more crouched, more tucked in feel with the motorcycle. And these higher set foot pegs, which are knurled now, will also go a long way in ensuring that you can lean the motorcycle much harder without worrying about the foot peg scrubbing with the tar. And these things complete the race kit. Now, as I mentioned before, as a part of the built to order program, you will also be able to customize this number that you see here on this fly screen, and you can have whatever number you want on this fly screen. You can also choose the alloy wheel color. So in all new features, and you can get this on your old RR 310 also as a paid update. So guys, those were all the changes that you will get under the built to order program of TVS, and this motorcycle looks beautiful in my personal opinion. And about the experience here, the engine felt very similar to how we have experienced in the past. There is no change in the engine performance. You get the 4 modes that you used to get earlier also. You get the street mode, you get the wet mode, you get the sport mode and the track mode, and you can choose one of the modes based on the kind of mood that you are in. It's a very linear engine. After 6,500 RPM, it does have a slight spike, and this is one of the most usable fared motorcycles you can find anywhere. It's a very fuel efficient motorcycle too, and this motorcycle has been around for a very long time and has its own lovers, especially the way it's designed is something out of this world. However, about the experience today, for the first few rounds that we went out, the suspension was on a softer setting. You could figure the difference out very prominently. When you want to ride this motorcycle really hard with the softer settings, you don't feel as confident, as the suspension feels slightly wallowy as it's tuned towards comfort mode. Once you set it to the race settings, it turns into a totally different beast, and it really creates this multifaceted kind of personality for this motorcycle, which can really do whatever you ask of it, be it bad roads, be it street riding, or be it track riding, be it riding with a pillion. This motorcycle can now adjust its suspension for whatever your requirement may be. So in that sense, this motorcycle is far superior of anything else that's available on the market right now, and there is no one best setting for this kind of a suspension setup. So it also allows you to tinker around and figure out what works best for you in various different conditions. Now, going forward, I'm going to ask some very pertinent questions which I had ringing in my head as well, and which I'm sure you will also have ringing in your head. So let's answer those questions one by one. The first question that you'll probably have is, if you have, say, a model 18 motorcycle, can you order these parts? Yes, these parts are available off the shelf as well. And as you can see here, this bracket can be put here entirely on the previous generation motorcycle as well. In fact, while this is not official, what I hear is that this exhaust can also be retrofitted on an older motorcycle. In fact, even these handlebars, the suspension, everything can be ordered off the shelf, and you can have all of this in your older motorcycle as well. So if you have an older motorcycle, don't bother. You can order all of these things and have them retrofitted. When you order these things through the configurator, mind it, it would not include the cost of fitting these components, and whatever labor charges are applicable at the nearest premium TVS service center, you will have to go there and pay that amount, and then you can have your old motorcycle also fitted with all these new features. Now, you can choose the dynamic kit or the race kit or both the kits. This is just the beginning, and TVS plans to expand this program and include more motorcycles in this fold, add more accessories, and keep offering more and more options to the customers. So watch out, you'll probably see more color options, more accessories and more technological enhancements being offered as a part of the built to order program. You would also probably want to know how much time it will take between you ordering the motorcycle and the motorcycle being available at the dealership. What we have been told is that the time would be about 45 days maximum. It can be less, but according to TVS, it will not be more. Now, finally, you would also be interested in the prices of all these parts. And while we are shooting this video, the prices have not been announced. They'll be announced in a few hours from now. So before this video ends, we will list the price of each and every part on the screen. So pause the video and you'll have the price of all the parts available. I really hope that I was able to answer all your questions which may arise with so many permutations and combinations you have with this new motorcycle. Still, if you have any further questions, you can always put them in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. If you like this video, if you found it comprehensive enough, do hit that like button, subscribe to Motoroids, don't forget to press that bell icon, and until next time, this is Amit Shangani signing off. Rev hard, rev free and ride safe.